Okay, good morning class. So today we're looking at the last exercise 12 on page 30, on polynomials, okay? You guys had homework on it, correct? That was your homework. So I've decided to do each and every question out of that exercise because I know many learners have problems with these exercises, okay? So you just let me know what the misunderstanding was, if there was any. Okay. So the first question is to simplify, and the question is the square root of a to the exponent 4b squared. So what would that be? The square root of 25 is 5a squared b. You all okay with that? The next one, what's the square root of a plus b all squared? A plus b. Not so. The next one, what's the square root of 16x to the exponent 4? The square root of 16 is 4x. Remember, it's going to be 16 over 2. So it's going to be. Any issues there? No. Again, as you move through these videos, you just check for this here. You know exactly what exercise we're busy with, okay? And looking at number 4, you've got the square root of 9x4 plus 16x4. Can I say the square root of 9x4 is going to be 2x plus 4x, and 2x squared plus 4x squared? Can I do that? No. When we apply the square root, there must be one term inside the bracket. You understand? So is that one term? No. How many terms are there? You have two terms. So how do I get it to be one term? You add it. So what's 9x to the exponent 4 plus 16x to the exponent 4? 25x to the exponent 4. What's the square root of 25x to the exponent 4? 5x. Okay. The next one, how many terms are there under the square root? One term. So I can apply the square root at this point. What's the square root of m squared? M. What's the square root of a plus b to the exponent 4? A plus b squared. As we know, we're dividing that by 2, that by 2. The square root of 121? Yeah. Okay, number 6. Is 32 a perfect square? No. Is there one term inside the bracket? Under the square root? Yes. So I could have applied the square root if it was, however, perfect squares. But since it's not perfect squares, I must first simplify it. Okay, so the square root remains. So let's simplify inside this bracket. What can cancel or simplify here? What number goes into 8 into 32 without remainder? 4 goes into 8? Twice. 4 goes into 32? 8 times. What goes into 8 into 2 without remainder? 2. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 8? 4. Otherwise I could have said straight. 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 32 4 times. Not so. Where is there more a's on top or at the bottom? Top. So it's going to be a squared. Where is there more b's? Top. So it's going to be b 4 over 1. Or I could have just written it as the square root of 4a squared b4. You guys understand? So what's the square root of 4? Square root of 4? 2. Square root a squared? A. The square root of b4? Over 1, which is exactly that. Any confusion at this point? The next one. Put this down again. Number 7. Is that one term under that bracket, under the root? Yes, for each one. So, is 20 a perfect square? So I need to simplify inside the bracket first. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 20, 4 times. So is there more a's? Top. So it's going to be a 4 times. If there's nothing between it, we know it's times. You all agree with that? So it's multiplied by. Again, we're going to simplify inside this bracket here, under the root. So it remains 9 in the numerator. Is there more a's? Huh? Bottom, which is the denominator. So it will give you a squared. Where's the more b's? B squared. Can you all see that? Any confusion? What's the square root of a? What's the square root of 4a to the exponent 4? 2a squared times. What's the square root of 9? 3. Square root of b squared over. But naturally, this is over 1, not so. So what's that going to give you? 2a squared times 3b. So they give you 6 a squared b over a. You all agree with that? Okay. Now what? You cancel. So a cancels with one of these. So the answer is going to be 6a over 1, which is 6ab. You guys understand? Okay. Look at number 8. Question 8. Is that under the root a perfect square? Is it one term? So I can simplify it. Not so. This will simply give us 2 goes into 50, 25 times. 2 goes into 98, 49 times. It's 25 over 49. Where's the more a's? So it's going to be a 6. Where's the more b's? Bottom, which is b to the exponent. The square root there. What's the square root of 25? 5. What's the square root of a6? A cubed. Over square root of 49? 7. B to the exponent? Okay. What is the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? We spoke about this in the last lesson. It's going to be 3 times 3. Or, what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? The square root of 9. What's the square root of 9? 3. Which is? Okay, or you could have gone from there, as some of you called out, straight into that. As we know what the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is? 5. Or the square root of 25, which is 5. Didn't we go through that yet? Yes. Square root of 8 times the square root of 8? Square root of x times the square root of x? X. Okay. So here we got negative 3 times. What's the square root of 12 times the square root of 3? Square root of 12 times the square root of 3. 6. How you get 6? Or 36. Nice. Square root of 36. What's the square root of 36? 6. So it's negative 3 times 6, which is negative. Any problems here? Okay. The next one, the square root needs to be applied first. How many terms are there? How many terms are there, people? Not so. So what's the square root of a to the exponent 4? A squared, not so. Times a squared. Now we can multiply them all. What's a times a squared? A cubed. And a cubed times a squared? A to the? Any problems here? No? Okay. So the number 12. What's the square root of a squared? A square root of a squared. That's our square root of x squared. X times. What's the square root of x? 6. X cubed. And x times x cubed is x to the exponent. Look at the next one. Okay. What does the square mean? Add out twice. It's 2 root 3 times 2 root 3 plus 4 root 2 times 4 root 2. Okay. So what is 2 multiplied by 2? 4. Root 3 times root 3? 3 plus. Or root 9. What is 4 times 4? 16. Root 2 times root 2? Root 4, which is 2. According to BODMAS, multiplication first. 4 times 3 is? 16 times 2 is? And what's 12 plus 32? Okay. Any confusion? The next one? What does that square mean? Write it out first. So it's 3 root 12 times root 12 plus root 5 times root 5. So it's going to be 3 times. What's root 12 times root 12? 12. What's the root of 5 times the root of 5? Huh? 5. So 12 times 3 times 12 is 36 plus 5 is? Okay. Last one, number 15. The first thing is we need to change this to improper fraction. Not so? So 2 1/4 can be written as what? 9 over 4 A6. Not so? 9 over 4 A6. The square root of 9 is? Over square root of 4 is? 2. A cubed. And that's the story there. You all understand? Okay. So that basically brings us to the end of polynomials. Okay. And we're going to start now our next topic, which is factorization. So your next heading is factorization.